If you just tuned in, you're watching World Insight, our weekend look at all the stories in the headlines. Welcome back to this programme, and these are tough times for British Prime Minister Gordon Brown. He's leading a country which has one of the weakest economies in all of Europe. His government is widely seen as weary and flailing. Also, the recent flood of revelations detailing the embarrassing expenses claimed by members of Parliament has further dented his reputation.
A costly headline. On May the 8th, the Daily Telegraph revealed Prime Minister Gordon Brown and 13 of his ministers used parliamentary expenses to subsidise their lifestyles. MPs were found to have charged for everything from bin liners and dog food to furniture. Brown was revealed to have paid his brother for cleaning services at his private flat in Westminster between 2004 and 2006. The disclosure sparked a furore among taxpayers when so many of them are struggling to make ends meet.
Obviously they have to have some expenses for, I don't know, I'm not up au fait with how they spend their money, but I mean some of it, come on, 2 or 3 homes and they're claiming that it should be stopped. And if they're not earning enough money, well, get another job.
On Monday, Brown apologised and pledged to clean up the system.
We also, as politicians, have a responsibility to show that people who enter our profession are there to serve the public interest and not to serve themselves. And so I want to apologise on behalf of politicians, on behalf of all parties, for what has happened in the events of these last few days.
This was not the first time Brown has apologised to the public.
And you know where I've made mistakes? I'll put my hand up and try to put them right.
Last month, it was for his advisor Damien McBride. In January, McBride sent emails from 10 Downing Street suggesting unfounded smears against the opposition Conservatives. Since then, Brown's Labour Party has been seen by people as using dirty tricks.
How are you going to survive this week, Prime Minister?
Public confidence has vanished, leaving just 23% of voters now backing Labour. This is a humiliating lag behind the Conservatives' 45% and the Liberal Democrats on 17%. And for the first time, over half of the voters now think Brown should quit immediately. Brown took over from Tony Blair as Labour leader in 2007 and became Prime Minister without an election.
He's a remarkable man, a remarkable servant to this country, and that is the truth.
As Blair's Treasury Chief for more than a decade, he was credited with overseeing Britain's longest stretch of post-war prosperity. When he came to power, he promised a better future for Britain.
For 10 years, I've tried to deliver a stable economy, and that will always be the starting point.
But the honeymoon was soon over. Brown came face to face with the global financial downturn. The crisis has slashed an average of £60,000 from each family's wealth over the past year. The 2008 plunge exceeds an entire year of British economic output. The unemployed population has hit over 2 million, the highest level since Labour came to power in 1997.
What's happening here isn't right. I'm a victim, you're a victim, and there's thousands of others in the country that are victims.
In 2007, when German Chancellor Angela Merkel and French President Nicolas Sarkozy came into office, they formed the European trio. Hopes were high they would re-energise the region's economy. And based on their past performances, the latest edition of The Economist gave the new order of the big three: Sarkozy on top, Merkel in the middle, and Brown flawed.
Up to me.
The British Prime Minister used to always have a smile for the camera. But in recent months, it's rarely seen. And when it does appear, it seems forced.
Was to save banks that would otherwise have collapsed. And we not only saved the world, saved the banks and saved the banks and led the way. We not only saved the bank.
Though it was a slip of the tongue, British media depicted the Prime Minister as Super Gordon, the leotard-wearing saviour who's convinced only he can deliver the world from financial turmoil. Former Deputy Prime Minister John Prescott mocked Brown's uncomfortable grin, calling it the worst smile in the world. It's understandable. There's nothing for the Prime Minister to cheer about at present. The domestic economy is worrisome, and Brown's stock has fallen low. And the man also embarrasses himself on international occasions. As German Chancellor Angela Merkel discovered, he can't even kiss right. Some say a successful leader needs charisma, the ability to look good on camera, the power to turn people in their favour. But Brown seems lacking in these qualities.
Gordon Brown is a different politician. He's much sterner. He's much more dour in Scottish terms.
And with a series of government scandals, support of Brown is at its lowest in 70 years. And just days after the expense revelation, Brown faced a fresh embarrassment. His cosmetic tips were left in a London taxi. Tony Blair spent taxpayers' money on makeup for himself when he was in office. Although Brown has not put his makeup on expenses, the point is that he's not as different from his image-conscious predecessor as he's always insinuated. But makeup cannot conceal a wary face. The fate of Brown will be decided on June 4th, when local and European elections are held, and Labour's disastrous poll ratings foreshadow defeat. The best hope of survival is to go on fighting.
Oh, I think he can. I think it's going to be a big challenge. But when you're hitting rock bottom, you can only go up. And I think he's up for that challenge. His experience, his courage is there. We've got to give him the confidence to be able to do it.
Brown has paid the price for cleaning his flat. And now he has to clean up his government mishaps and his own and other troubles. His best bet is to hold out for as long as he can and hope that his fortunes will improve.
Well, of course, the big question is, can Brown survive? As Prime Minister, he's staggered from one trial to another, so some still believe that he'll save his leadership with the same spirit that helped him cope with his daughter's death and with losing an eye.